Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Rosina Sharon, and today we are going to do a full face makeup for beginners again. You know, this channel is dedicated to beginners. And before we do that, kindly subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them. Kamakawa Ida. Guys, yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions on what does Kama Kawaida mean. It means like always. I'll be reading all of them like always. So in Swahili, like always means Kama Kawaida. So before we do all of this, kindly subscribe and share your comments on the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them Kama Kawaida. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. With no further ado, let us go straight into the video. Okay, we're going to start off by brushing the eyebrows up using a spoolie. So before you line the lower side, brush the eyebrows up, not sideways. So where to start lining, you're going to follow the curve of the nose, or rather the edge of the nose, as I showed you guys. And the eye pencil you're going to use is the Davis No. 3 eye pencil. This is a dark brown eye pencil. Beginners avoid black eye pencil unless you have a very dark skin tone. So we're going to start by lining the lower side of the brow, following the exact shape of the brow. And then as we go towards the outer corner, we're going to curve it outwards, not inwards. And then around the upper side of the brow, we're going to leave a bit of space around the inner corner as we line. And then we're just going to follow the exact shape of the brow. Again, around the outer corner, we are lining it outwards. And then to fill in, we're going to start off by using the soap technique. So we're going to use that white foam. Using our spool, we're going to pick that white foam, and then I use that to brush through our eyebrows. And then after that, make sure you press the eyebrows in so it sticks to the skin. Okay, and then allow the soap to dry out completely first before you start filling in. And then to fill in, we're using the very same eyebrow pencil we used to line, and we're only going to fill in the areas where we feel like there is space, because we want our natural eyebrows to show. Around the inner corner, we are just brushing it upwards and use very little force around the inner corner. You don't need to draw hair-like structures unless you don't have hair around the inner corner. So to clean the eyebrow, we're going to use Illegal Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn, and we're using a flat brush, not an angle brush. And then to apply product on the brush, do it side to side so you avoid the product piling on the upper side of the brush. And then make sure you stabilize your hands while you're doing this. And then again, we're going to follow the exact shape of the brow, and always drag the concealer down as you go so it's easier for you to blend in afterwards. And then we're going to leave a bit of space around the inner corner and the outer corner as well. And in the spaces we left around both the edges of the inner corner and outer corner, we're using foundation to clean, not concealer. So it's easier for you to blend when you're done. So it just blends into the skin later on when you're blending in. So we're going to use foundation both on the inner corner and outer corner. And make sure that foundation blends into the concealer you used previously, and then you can use a brush or your finger to blend that in before you start setting the eyelids for eyeshadow. And next, before we start applying eyeshadow, we're going to set the lids using an eyeshadow base. It's better when you use an eyeshadow base than just a concealer. So we're going to use the Plouise eyeshadow base in the shade number 1, Rumour 1. And to apply that, always start from the lower lid going up, sorry. So blend it in from the lower lid. So as you blend up, it just blends into the concealer you used previously. And please use very little product when you're doing this. For eyeshadow, we're going to start off by Reina Beauty in the shade in the Royalty palette, the Royalty palette by Reina Beauty. And we're going to start off with this shade, starting from the outer corner going towards the inner corner, concentrating on the upper lid. Okay, and all transition shades should always be matte. Beginners, all transition shades should always be matte. Never use shimmer for transition. Okay, so we're going to start by applying the first transition around the outer corner going towards the inner corner. And to blend that in, we're going to use the Zikel eyeshadow palette, Rios eyeshadow palette in the shade this orange shade. So to blend in the first transition, we normally go for earth tones. Earth tones are normally yellow, orange, brown shades. Those are earth tones. And again, all transitions should always be matte, and we're using a bigger brush to blend this in. For blending, use circular motions, very little force, starting from the outer corner going towards the inner corner. Then after that, you can darken the outer corner using a dark brown shade, always a matte shade, again a dark brown shade. Never use black. Beginners don't use black. You can use a dark brown to darken the outer corner, and use a smaller brush for that. And then after that, around the crease region, you're just going to use a brush to blend in the products around the crease region, sorry. And then after that, we're going to use a matte sorry, not a matte shade, we are going to use a nude shade around that area. Okay, again, all of the shades I've used here are matte shades. Okay, and then after that, we're going to draw something like a wing, but not really a wing, because we're going to use the very same dark brown shade we use to blend in that wing into the eyeshadow around the outer corner. So it just appears darker around the outer corner, not really necessarily a wing per se. And then after that, before we apply lashes, we're going to do mascara first and then apply our falsies, because especially for me, I don't have natural lashes like that, so I have to use falsies. That is it for the eye makeup. So moving on to the face, we're going to start off with the first prep with the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid. And please bear in mind, the products I'm going to use here are going to be favorable for dry skin. I have dry skin, so this is going to favor more of dry skin than it is going to favor oily skin. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid. Apply that, make sure it sets fast before you move on to the next step. The next step, I'm going to use the Bondi Sands sunscreen SPF 50. This is actually the best sunscreen I've ever used in my life. I would recommend this anytime. So I'm just going to apply that all over the face. Again, allow it to set fast before I move on to primer. So for priming, I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, and I'm only going to apply that around the T-zone area. Again, this technique favors dry skin. Okay, if you have oily skin, you can apply the primer on all the areas you produce oil. So if it is the same, the whole face, do it around the whole face. For primer, we tap it in. Okay, for blending primer, tap it in. And then after the primer has set, we are moving on to foundation. You can use Maybelline Superstay foundation. For me, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty foundation in the shade number 420, and I'm going to apply the foundation using a beauty blender. So make sure the beauty blender is damp, and then you squeeze out the excess water from the beauty blender first before you use it to blend. And for blending, tap 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 until it all blends in. And for foundation, please avoid using fresh products around the under eye, and the foundation remaining on the beauty blender is what you're going to use to blend in the neck. Okay, around the forehead, start off blending just above the eyebrow going up. So as you go up, blend left to right, left to right, left to right until it all blends in. It's going to give you a very, very good blend, unlike just blending from down upwards. And then after that, the products remaining on the beauty blender is what we're going to use to blend in around the nose. So next is a step I normally do when I want to have a full face. So I apply cream blush just before I start highlighting using a concealer. Okay, and you can use a red creamy lipstick for this. And if you're melanated skin like me, the best blush would be, if you're dark skin, a red blush. If you're more of a lighter skin tone, go for an orange undertone for blush. It works best for melanated skin, not pink. And then after that, I'm just going to highlight using the very same concealer I use to clean the eyebrow, and I'm just going to use a tip on the tip of the beauty blender, just a small product, and then blend it on the under eye. And then after that, use very, very little product as well around the bridge of the nose. I normally don't highlight the forehead as much, but if you like, you can highlight the forehead as well. And then after that, to set the concealer in, I'm going to use the Sacha Buttercup setting powder, and use the side where the side of the beauty blender that has product, and then just tap on the setting powder, and then make sure you blow off the excess powder on the beauty blender, and use the remaining to set. And the technique here is you just press it onto the skin until it is absorbed. It becomes skin-like. That is the finish we want, a skin-like finish. And when you're doing this, don't apply too much force, just a little force, and then press the product in on all the areas you highlighted using a concealer that using a concealer, sorry. So that includes the bridge of the nose and forehead as well. And then after that, to contour, I'm using the Maybelline finishing powder in the shade number 375. I'm starting off to contour with the forehead. I'm not going to contour the cheeks because I want the cheeks to remain warm. So to contour the forehead, make sure you blend into the hairline, okay? And then after that, to contour the nose, we're going to follow where the eyeshadow stops, okay? That is going to be our guideline on where exactly to do the contour lines on both sides. And on the nose, use very little product, very little product. And then to blend in, use a cleaner brush. Don't use the very same brush you use to do the contour lines. And then to blend on the upper side, you blend into the eyeshadow. On the lower side, you just blend down. And then after that, I'm just going to apply cream eyeliner on the waterline alone, just on the waterline. And then after that, we're just going to use a bit of glitter around the inner corner of the eye just to give that pop. And then after that, you can use a finishing powder that matches your skin tone to blend the whole face in, except for the under eye. And then after that, to set the face, we're going for the Milani Make It Last. The original setting spray works better than the other dewy or the matte setting spray. Go for the original one. And then after that, I normally don't love highlighting like that, but I'm just going to highlight the tip of the nose alone. And then moving on to the lips, I'm going to start off by lip lining using a darker lip liner, that is Davis #1 lip liner. And after applying lip liner, make sure you blend in the lip liner completely first before you move on to applying your lipstick. So for me, I wanted to do something glossy. That is why I went for this shade. And then after that, I'm just going to apply a clear gloss on top of that. And all the products used on this tutorial will be on the description box, so kindly check the description for the products. And that will be it for me today, guys. Let me know what you think about this whole look, or the comment section down below. I hope you have learned something. I hope you have enjoyed watching this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.